Hi, this is Susanna with WordPress Building Blocks, and this lesson is about how to secure your site with CSS on Siteground. Now, your process will be somewhat similar if you have another host. Siteground makes it exceptionally easy, but you do have many of the same options with other hosts, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the first thing you want to do is log into your Siteground account using the username and password that was provided or that you decided on when you first set up your account. And then go ahead and click on the websites link. It's right up here near the top. So click on websites. And this is what you'll see. You'll see your website details. Now, this is my test domain name, yourwpfl.com. You'll see whatever yours is. If you have more than one domain name hosted with Siteground, you'll see all of them. But go ahead and find the one that you want to work on and click the Site Tools link next to that name. And this is just a larger version of that. So click Site Tools, and it'll take you to a screen that looks like this. Now, in this dashboard menu on the left, you're going to want to select Security. Next, select SSL Manager. Now, SSL stands for Secure Socket Layer, and you don't really need to remember that, but that's what it stands for. And before you can engage SSL, you need to have a security certificate. Now, there are lots of different security certificates that you can choose from. The least expensive one is actually free, and it's provided by a company called Let's Encrypt. And many website hosts are making these free Let's Encrypt certificates available directly through their hosting. If they're not, you can go to Let's Encrypt's website and create and download your own. So your process would be a little bit different, but the end result would be the same. Now, it's the that certificate and changing a few settings is what gives you the secure padlock icon in the browser window, so that when somebody is going to your website, they don't see any unlocked padlock icons or any danger, don't go to this site warnings that Google kicks up if a site is unsecured. So anyway, go ahead and click SSL Manager. And you'll see something that looks like this. You'll see a little bit of information about the SSL Manager. And then you'll see this Install New SSL. And you can either install a certificate or notice you have an option to import a certificate. Now, we're not going to go through that in this lesson because most of you are going to be just creating one right now. So select your domain if you have more than one. If you have just the one, it'll show up here. But if you need to select, there's a little drop-down arrow to click. And then you're going to select the type of certificate that you want. And Siteground gives you three. They give you Let's Encrypt Wildcard, and Premium Wildcard. Now, Premium, as its name implies, costs you some money. Let's Encrypt Wildcard, you may or may not need it, but for purposes of this demonstration, encrypting the wildcard and the plain Let's Encrypt certificate are very similar, so we're just going to select Let's Encrypt. And then you're going to click this Get button. So go ahead and click Get. Notice that you selected Let's Encrypt here. And the first thing you'll see is a timer. Your request is being processed. And this can go for a second or two. It can go for half a minute or even a minute. So if it seems to be stuck, don't worry about it. It really isn't, but it does tend to go on for a while. Once your certificate is installed, you'll see this success notice. Let's Encrypt is installed for yourwpfl.com. And you have two buttons here. A back button obviously will take you back to a previous screen. Configure HTTPS will actually take you to some instructions. I'll show you that in a minute. But right now, I want to draw your attention to something else. The certificate was installed for www.yourwpfl.com, which is correct. But notice here it also says one more. And that's a clickable link. Now here's what you see when you click on that. You get a little pop-up that shows you that it was also installed for yourwpfl.com without the www in front. So it automatically installs it for both versions of your domain name, the www and the plain vanilla one without the www. So you can go ahead and close that. And then if you want to see some instructions for configuring your HTTPS, you can click on this button here, and it takes you to a separate page. Tells you how to configure it with one click, some popular applications, troubleshooting, various other things. But let's go back. And the next thing that you want to do is, now that you've got your certificate installed, you want to enforce the HTTPS. Just installing your certificate does not do that. So you want to go over here to the menu on the left and select HTTPS Enforce. And now you go to a different screen, so HTTPS Enforce, and it conveniently shows you this locked padlock and your domain, and it'll show the domain that the certificate was installed for, so it automatically shows you this one. So to turn it on, just select this toggle button that says HTTPS Enforce. And you'll see a message that pops up that says Success, HTTPS Enforce for yourwpfl.com enabled. Okay, now there's another way that you can do the enforcement part of it, and that's actually from the WordPress side. And again, this is if you're hosted on Siteground and if you have that SG Optimizer plugin installed, which happens automatically when you install a WordPress site on Siteground following the instructions that we went over in the previous lesson. So let's take a look at that. So here we are, we're logged into the WordPress dashboard, and you want to go ahead and click this SG Optimizer button in your dashboard menu. And you'll come to a page that looks like this. You want to select the second tab, Environment Optimization. We'll come back to these other settings later, but for right now, we're just going to look at the HTTPS. So click Environment Optimization. And notice that you see something that says Enable HTTPS and a toggle button. So go ahead and click that toggle button. And you see another pop-up warning that tells you that in order to force HTTPS on your site, we'll automatically update your database, replacing all insecure links. In addition to that, we will add a rule in your HTA access file, forcing all requests to go through encrypted connection. And you want to click Confirm to that. But let me just take a minute to explain briefly what that means. On your site, you may have some elements of it that are not secure. So for example, if you are displaying an image on your site that is not hosted on your site but is coming from an outside URL, that may not be secure. You want to force it to go through a secure connection because you want your site visitors to feel confident that they can trust your site, that everything's encrypted, and that they see that padlock icon in their browser. So when they replace the database, replacing all insecure links, what that means is that they replace any link that starts with HTTP, they replace it with HTTPS. Okay, now the rule in the HTA access file, that is a file that's part of the WordPress code. You don't really need to worry about that, but that file instructs browsers and search engines and other bots how to do various things on the site. So anyway, go ahead and click that confirm button. And once you do that, you'll see this toggle switches on, and you will have a secure HTTPS connection. This is Susanna saying thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.